Colleagues, hi. Do you see me well? Do you hear me well? Do you see my presentation? Colleagues, hello. I see only 11 members of the today's presentation. Yes, Anna, thank you very much. So great, thank you. Thank you, colleagues. So I would like to offer to wait for additional 2 minutes to give the other of participants the opportunity to connect to our discussion today. And so then after 2 minutes, we will start and I will share our experience about new normal and employee experience and etc. etc. Okay, and that's great. Great, so many people. Nice to see you all today. More 29 members. So let's wait another minute and we will start. So colleagues, okay, so we gave 2 minutes for all the people who wanted to connect to our presentation. So we will start and then after they will connect to us. So dear colleagues, dear HRs, thank you very much for inviting me for your fantastic conference. And today I'm glad to be here. Let me introduce myself. My name is Vera Solomatina, and I'm the Human Resources Director for SAP CIS. Let me speak a few words about what is SAP. SAP is one of the biggest technological companies all over the world. We are comparing ourselves to such companies as Google, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, etc., etc. So now we are more than 100,000 employees all over the world, and we are producing the technological solutions for bigger customers, for great businesses, and we help them to run the world run better. And so I'm representing here the market unit that is named CIS, which consists of a big amount of different countries like Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Armenia, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, and others. So in our market unit today, we have 1,300 employees, and also we are in a very great interaction with our customers. And maybe, as you know, that SAP is selling one of the best talent management solution success factors, and through this selling process we get in touch with the different customers from different areas of businesses and different industries. And so we have collected a lot of information about how our great customers behave themselves during this coronavirus crisis and after coronavirus crisis in our new world. So I will be happy now today to share this experience with you, dear colleagues. And in case you have any questions about specific industries you are interested in, how they dealt in Russia with some new information, new technologies, I will be happy to have your questions in our Q&A session. So my today proposal is to have a presentation and I will share my experience with you. And then after we will have not few, but about 20 minutes for discussion, for Q&A, and I will be happy to answer your questions. So first of all, I would like to tell you that the presentation that I'm showing you today is the result of the journey that me, myself, my colleagues and my employees visited in these crisis times. Sorry, one moment. I will tell you a little bit about how we as a company were prepared to these new normal rules and what we have done previously. What is else? Which tools now we are using to collect information about our employee experience, how we're checking the progress, and what we are doing to understand what are the people's hopes and willings. I will tell you our insights about the remote mode, and I will tell you about maybe a few words about Qualtrics. It's our new product that we ourselves using, and what insights we have collected from these Qualtrics surveys. And after that, I will tell you some secret information about how we as SAP, which insights we have collected and what action items we have done to prevent and to prepare our people to this new normal world. And so then after I will tell you a few words about what we will do after. So what we are preparing for. So let's start. We have 30 minutes, so let's enjoy the content of the presentation. So just a few words how we were prepared. As I have told you before, we are a technological company, we are IT company, and you know that honestly saying, we were surprisingly very well prepared to this corona crisis period and to this new world. Why and how we have done it? So one of the answers on this question is our strategy that was implemented 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we have created this strategy, and I will tell a few words about it. So the first pillar of the strategy that we need to be the number one talent magnet. And you know that every employee wants to have the best employees and want to attract best people on the market. So it's not the point of our today's discussion. What is the inside these pillars of strategy? I would like to point your attention to only one of these pillars, but let's show the picture itself. So the second pillar of the strategy is to create passionate leaders and experts. And so here we have created the Institute of Human Resources Business Partners, and this is the people who are providing knowledge to the managers of the company. So the main idea of HR Business Partners Institute as a growing the leadership in the company. So our idea is that the main human resources manager to the employee is his own manager. And this really very helps us now in this new world, because in case we are sitting not in the office, we are all on remote mode, every employee knows that he has his own manager who is his human resources manager and who can deal with his questions. So the third pillar, and the most important according to our presentation, because we have now very interesting times. So 2 years ago, we have established this pillar of the strategy that we need to have agile workplace of the future. So our workplaces need to be flexible. We need to work from every place of the world. And so, you know, on the basis of this pillar of strategy, we had very big amount of little action items. For example, every employee needs to have a notebook, not a laptop, not a desktop. So all the company, and it's written in the policies that notebook is one of the is the one, you know, the type of equipment that can be given for the employee from the company. And so this gave us the opportunity that when we announced the remote mode, all the employees just took their notebooks and went to work to houses, to their own houses, to their locations. And so different things, like some internal policies and procedures that can allow employee to work from home, just very simple, approve it with his manager. And something like there is no specific place in the office for the current employee, and he can choose the place in the office according to his tasks for today. In case he has conversation or some negotiation by phone, he can sit in the phone booth. And in case he need to work to think about something, important, or he need to be creative, he can choose the place in the office where his productivity will be on 100%. So that I will give you these advices about your new normal, but we ourselves do it 2 years ago, and it was very helpful now for us that we can be flexible and can operate our workforce very in a very flexible way. So then after the fourth pillar of our strategy was brilliant learning, and the most amount of our learning is provided online. So when our corona crisis has started in Russia, so we switched on the huge amount of trainings and learning opportunities, and the people who lost a little bit in the first days, and most of the customers were sitting on their places and they do not understand what to do and how to operate. And so there were like 2 or 3 weeks when we had this lack of information, what to do, what is the status, and what will be the future. So we switched on this brilliant learning concept, and our employees has the opportunity to gain a lot of new knowledge due to this brilliant learning concept. The fifth pillar of our strategy is the leading edge digital HR. So we're collecting all the ultimate technologies in HR. We have chatbot, we have a whole system that is collecting all the info about the employees, which is in which processes are very flexible and you can work from everywhere, all the stuff. So, and that gives us the opportunity to share this experience with you, because we have this interesting technological projects in HR. And from the other hand, we can give this opportunity to our employees that they're working in a very, technological mode. And so then after the sixth pillar of the strategy, it's not the point of today's discussion, but we have very big part of our attention to inclusive culture, and we collect different people in our company, so we work and include different people to our teams and strategies. So let's finish here this slide, and I would like to tell you one more time that please, when you are thinking about future plans, when you are thinking about new normal, please know that strategy, your own the strategy is the one of the first instruments that need to support new normal. So let's continue. What else we as SAP have done previously to be prepared for these new normal times? So all our services can be delivered remotely. HR services, I'm sorry. All our HR services can be delivered remotely, and it was established before the corona crisis. So 4 steps that we have done, and I honestly advise you to do the same and to think what to do with your internal procedures. We streamlined and simplified all the processes within HR. So we look at every process and think, is it normal? Is it effective? Is it simple? Is it does it consist of the proper amount of steps, or do we need to have less steps, or maybe one step, or maybe we need to delete this procedure. So these action plan were delivered years before this crisis. So, and now we do not do useless job because all the processes, they are streamlined. The second thing that we have done, we have made self-services. And you know that it's very interesting thing. The self-service for the employee, it's not only, all the people are thinking that the self-service is that I can go to some place in my computer and I can create and print some, report on some receipt or some, some form to provide to some, organs or authorities, But honestly saying, a lot of things in our company are done on self-service basis. For example, I'm as a manager can make the increase of the salary for my employees in the yearly cycle in the mode of self-service. So I do not need anybody. I do it only in computer, only in the internal system. I do not need to use Excel, electronic mails, person who is helping me, nobody. So I'm just opening the communication, I'm opening the system, I'm changing the process, I'm changing the figures in the process, and I'm sending it to my manager. That's all. And so a lot of processes are made by this. So it helped us because our managers now, they do not think how to do simple things. They just do it and concentrate on their core business. The third very important part that we have prepared, didn't know about the coronavirus crisis, that we automated all the HR processes. And so I cannot tell you that we 100% made the automatization because due to Russian legislation, unfortunately, we have very little scope of documents that need to be signed by the person, signing, not the electronic sign, and that need to be stamped and to collect it with a paper form, But honestly saying, now our government is going into digitalization of HR processes, and less documents we need to have on this paper form, only like contracts, some additional agreements, and we can go into the 100% electronic form, but we're just collecting the info from different places, and we're thinking that maybe it's not so good for now. We will implement it after. But so it seems to me that 98% of our HR processes, they are made automation, and they're integrated. So that's why our employees can sit at home, like I'm sitting here, and do some HR processes just to raise ticket, to ask questions, to start the process, etc. They can do it from their home. They do not need to go buy food to some people, to some ladies in the HR department who are sitting and drinking coffee. What are you doing? Give me your paper, etc. So we have no such people now in our company. And so the fourth very important thing that we have created this shared service center. It's the joint department that is collecting all the tickets and providing some routine operations. And this is very interesting thing that shared service center can also work on remote mode because they all have notebooks, they all have internet connection, they have simplified and streamlined processes, all the things that we have discussed previously. So the strategy and 4 very simple principles of HR transformation helped us to be very successful during this implementation of new normal period. So colleagues, let's continue. How to check the progress? So we are so lucky, you are so lucky, we have everything good, but what do our people think about our procedures and principles? So we are now, usually every big company creates the employee engagement survey once a year. It's a classic of, a classic HR yearly calendar to collect this info. And so then after what we understand that we are collecting info, then we are thinking about the results, we're collecting results, compare them, we're preparing the presentation, we're presenting these results to the employees, we're creating the action plan for this for the results of this engagement survey. What else? In case you have an attrition in your company, some people who have answered, they have already left. Some people just joined the company to replace the people that have left. And in the end of the day, you have more than 30% of people who have not answered this survey. And the survey itself, it's like, you're collecting the temperature. But some people who are aware about some medical issues, we understand that the temperature is not one of the cannot be the one of the method who helps us to create a diagnosis for the patient. So we need to collect more data, not only the temperature. And so then after, we have understood that we need to collect the data from the employees not only once a year. And so now we're creating once a year big survey. And then after, we see the gaps like leadership trust or engagement or stress management or work-life balance. And so we're creating very little surveys like pulse survey, and we put them into that gaps that were not filled, or we have found that the zones are important according to first big flagship survey. And so we are preparing these little surveys that can help us to check how is the patient feeling himself, And so this year we have collected 2 surveys, and we added there the information and the questions about how people do feel themselves on the remote work mode, how do they feel the stress level, the work-life balance, etc., etc. And so what we have collected? Very interesting insights. I have collected insights from SAP and also from different companies just to show you a very interesting picture what people do accept during this new normal period, or what they are not accepting. So let's start. I like this, coronavirus picture in the left bottom corner of my presentation. He's so cute, but let's continue. So most of people tell that they understood that productivity when they work from home is really higher. So people are feel comfortable with their level of productivity. The side effect we will discuss later. That most of people are telling that usually during not coronavirus period, a lot of people were late on these calls. Now everybody is on time, and maybe a little bit earlier. And so people understood that when all the people are on the call, it's better if part of people are offline and they are looking at each other, and the other part of people are online, because this separates people. Yeah, you're offline, you're online, and these online people, like, strange people who are somewhere in the phone. And when everybody is online, it increases the productivity of the meetings on a very high level. The second insight, people told that the messaging and the video-based information sharing is more effective than writing the messages, writing the letters in the mail, etc. So what else? In case you have a headquarter and some people who are not working in headquarter, so in this new normal period, people understood that they are more included into the teams, into the life of the headquarters. What else? Uh, you can easily go to your customers or to some people from different departments and invite them for brief chat in the Zoom or Teams or whatever. What else? In case you have some bottlenecks, they will be bigger during this coronavirus. So you need to think what bottlenecks do you have to make the processes more simple and streamlined, not to have this bottleneck during new coronavirus period. You know that the most challenging times were to people who had kids. That's kids first school or starting school. Uh-huh. What else? The most important thing, stress level and work-life balance decreased for everybody. All the people who were asked, they told that the remote work kills work-life balance because there is no border between these two periods of time. And so most of people are telling that they started to see their families during bigger periods of times, and it's good for their family relationship, and it's very good for their parents' relationship. So most of people are telling that it's the best summer of their careers because they can hug their children, they can have lunch with their families during their working days, and it's awesome, really. And uh, people need to understand that in case they're working from home, they need to create the office space. It's not that you are eating and working from the same place. This kills your work-life balance at all. So here are the insights, and as you understand that the most important thing that were told by everybody, it's work-life balance and psychological stress. So let's continue our recommendations. They're very simple, but we have collected great feedback from the market and from our employees that these insights and these recommendations are very useful. So please take them on your papers and please try to implement anything from this list in your company. So in case you are inviting some people, please include the description and include the agenda. It's a basic hygienic item and rule of management, but most of us are forgetting it. So invite the people who are necessary on these meetings, because you know that most of people, they are lost in this new normal situation and they are trying to increase their productivity due to placing a lot of meeting requests, initiating different discussions that are not useful now. We're just doing business, So just stop such people and tell them just be cool, and please do not spam us with your strange invitations. So just understand that your working time is limited and decrease the amount of unnecessary activities. And it's our problem because we do not in our company indicate the deadlines. So we asked our colleagues to indicate the deadlines and set them as reasonable and justified. It's all about focus on content. What else? We have asked our managers to create an individual approach to every employee who is working in his team, because the family situations are different, and one person needs to make the lessons with the kid in the beginning of the working day, but he can spend more time after 6 p.m. and to create some letters, presentations, etc. And the other person can work productively in the morning, and then after he need to have a break because he need to collect his kids from school, for example. And we advised managers to set up this individual approach to every employee, to ask the employees how do they feel, how a manager can help them. It's very important because most of managers, They are talking to their employees only within the efficiency mode, Uh, what is about projects? What is your plans? What are you going to do? It's like micromanagement. Yeah, and just stop and ask some questions about how do you feel? What is the situation? How is your family? It is very helpful. We advised our employees within the teams to create the online team building sessions, and this really helps. And we have asked to choose a healthy rules ambassador in the team who will check if the team follows these rules. The third very important part, and I know that some managers who can read this, who read these rules, they really started to cry. So we are asking our people to have last working meeting in the calendar just in the end of the working day, and do not set the working meetings after normal ending of the working day and on vacations and holidays. It's just a hygienical rule, but the company with a very high culture of responsibility and high culture of success, like we are. My people can work every time, and this gives us the flare of stress. And then after I see that people cannot work in such efficient mode because they are just tired, you know. So then after, do not write letters after 6. So in case you're so productive and you're writing your letters at 11 p.m., just set up the after sending in the next morning. So we do not work on vacations, and we advise our employees to reduce the amount of the minutes in every meeting, just to have the breaks between the meetings and to have a sip of water, to breathe the air, to have a cigarette. We do not smoke, but to have a cigarette, to hug his kid, to have a break, and to have short lunch, etc., etc. So and it was very it was very good buy-in from our employees, and so all the company has collected these rules and started to implement it. What's next? What we as HR managers need to think about in the future? Think about the hiring process. So you can collect candidates not only in the place where your headquarters is located. So you can share your view on the expertise on your market more wider than only one city. So you can collect people, and you can acquire people to a company from different areas of your location. So what is the next? You can look at your business and think which teams need to be on site and which teams can work remotely, and which teams can work, on some schedule, because that it's very important when we give the people the opportunity to choose which type of work, remote work or on-site work, he can work today. And in case we give this choice to the employee, he became more happier, trust me. And so, what else? What is very important for us to think about? It's how to maintain engagement. Because, when we work all together in the offices, we're engaging ourselves by collecting together, by thinking about interesting things, etc. Now we are losing this opportunity. And so you need to think about new instruments, how to make the internal communication interesting, how to collect people together, how to make them communication to them, how to make them feel engaged into the life of the organization. And you know that your core values, core behaviors of your company need to be transferred to the employees directly. And think about your newcomers or interns who will join your company. This will be your focus for next half a year and maybe year. That's all from my side. And so now we have 20 minutes for questions, and I can ask, you can ask every question about the presentation, about the market, about how people uh, are staying now in this new normal world in Russia, what do we experience, etc., etc. So I'm finishing, and the stage is yours. Please ask your interesting question. And for now, we do not have any questions right now. Um, Colleagues, maybe we can do some contests on the most important or most interesting question. What do you think? Will be interesting for you? Colleagues, right now, no questions. Colleagues and maybe some people here in our chat, in our section room, are from IT companies, from technological companies. I know that in Armenia there are a lot of great IT companies and startups, and you know that IT industry is developing a lot. Maybe just some questions from you, and maybe you can share your experience, how you deal with this new normal. Okay, so we have first question. Thank you very much. And how do you organize internal communication by HR? Thank you for the question. It's very interesting. So previously, before the new normal period, we have different types of communication. So first of all, sorry. First of all, most of the communication, as most of the companies are going through emails to all the employees, but we have collected that the info that more than 80 emails every employee of my company in CIS collects every month, and we understood that it's too big amount of letters. And so we started to think how to be more effective. And so I will tell you how we do it. So then after, the second very important part of our communication streamline is a all hands meeting. So we are collecting all the employees off-site in our office and online quarterly on our all hands meetings, when we sharing the results, giving the plans from the management team, nominating the best employees of the quarter, and giving some entertainment to people. So two all hands we have provided only in online. And so it was very interesting exercise, and you know that people were really happy because we have made very interesting entertainment program for them. Unfortunately, we cannot use now our internal communications channels that we use in the offices, because it's very interesting, but it's a little bit maybe secret, but it's only HRs here. Do not tell the employees, okay? Two most important communication channels in the office. The place where people are eating and the toilets. And so every person is eating and every person is going to toilet. And so in case you are putting some information, maybe not so strategic or important information, but the information that every employee needs to be aware of, for example, vaccination, or for example, some topic that is about traveling. or some topic about hygiene, or some topic about health, some funny facts. It will be good. And so you know that in case we're placing this communication line in canteen, we collect something like 80% of engagement into this communication from the people. Now we have totally changed our strategy, and we're creating our internal communication strategy based on Microsoft Teams. So we're doing a lot of internal events there, and then we collect people in chats. We do collect the lines of news, etc. So I have a person in my team who is especially responsible for internal communication. So it's her idea, and it's our new strategy. And so we're really going very good. So now we can really advise. It's online, all hands, emails, but less amount, and Microsoft Teams as a very good instrument. 3 great instruments now. I hope I answered. So, Guar, I have answered for both your questions. For first, how do you organize internal communication? And from my point of view, do you still choose specific time channels? About channels, I have answered. And time, yeah, well, specific times, it's quarterly basis, because our employees are waiting for the quarterly information. So we're using special times within the week, so Mondays and Fridays. So we understand that the importance of the letters that are sent on Mondays and Fridays, they are more higher, and Microsoft Teams we're using, every time. Okay. The next question, thank you, it's very interesting. How do you measure the engagement score in the company during these COVID days? You know that sorry. So we have only 7 minutes, so colleagues, let's be faster. So we are creating these surveys, and as you remember, and you can see it in my presentation, I hope that the organization, the event organizers will share the experience. So we are collecting uh, the big survey once a year, and we're making these pulse surveys where we included the information about, do you have enough resources in your normal times? Do you have enough information about what is company doing? Do you have enough equipment? Do you have enough attention for a manager? What is your level of stress? What is your level of mindfulness, etc., etc.? And then we collect this info also, and all our insights, they are collected basis on these surveys. Thank you for the question. Okay, colleagues, and no question, in our chat. And Q&A session. Okay, Rita asked the question. Please share further on your strategies to manage the stress levels of your employees. So first of all, Rita, we are collecting the numbers. What is the stress level of our employees? So if we know the current number that the level of stress is, for example, 95, it's the first step. Then after, we are providing different activities. So we have collected all the practices about mindfulness, about stress resilience, etc., etc. We are making the seminars for the managers. Then also we are making a lot of events that are made by employees themselves. So we have healthy podcast. And so a lot of people from our company are telling to other people in our company about their health practices. How do they beat the stress now themselves? It's very interesting, and we collect great amount of our employees. So then after this, healthy rules that I have shared in my presentation. It's one of the part of the strategy, because you know that the most stress they collect from not correct calendar, not correct meetings, huge amount of uh, huge amount of letters, etc. So we are trying to manage it. So it's our main pillars of strategy. So it's healthy rules, it's learning of managers, and it's exchanging the experience of employees. So I hope I answered. Um, so then after Robert is asking, do you have employees who work from the home? If so, do those employees complain? If so, how do you handle it? Robert, great question. So we had emergency team that need to work starting from the first day of lockdown, because they need to have some, check if the server is working, check if the paper documents are signed, because we have daily operations that need to be done. And so these teams were collected on the a volunteer basis from the departments who are responsible for the operations. And so people have raised their hands themselves. And from the other hand, uh, we had very big amount of restrictions in Russia for social distancing, wearing of masks, etc., etc. And so we have just collected all these restrictions and we just followed them. So in case of office work, two main principles. We collected all the rules and we followed them, and we asked to join the people on the voluntary basis. And so that's why we collected the success here. So I hope I answered. Thank you. Do we have another question? Margarita is asking, have you changed the practices in terms of health insurance coverage with regard to this COVID situation? So Margarita, no, because the quarantine is the point that is not covered by medical insurance, voluntary medical insurance. We just added the coronavirus test to our insurance program, and our employees can collect the results for free. So the company is paying for this. So in case any employee will start to um, have this disease, so we will think how to help. But now we didn't have any, requests from the employees to support them with the voluntary insurance program. Thank you. Um, and it seemed to me it will be the last question for today's presentation, because we have to only minutes. Vera, will you please tell whether age is considered during recruitment in IT companies? I mean, do you recruit only young people? It's a very interesting question, because in SAP we have opposite problem. We have very good HR brand, and we are the vendor, so we are on the top of this, recruitment pyramid. And so we collect only very experienced people from the market, and it's so hard to attract young people to SAP, because young people do not want to work for SAP. They want to work for Yandex, for example, as you know what it is. That they want to work for modern technological Russian companies that is agile, etc. Everything. And so for SAP, they do not want to work. And so I have opposite problem, that I need to attract young people, because I have a lot of people with the different ages, including people of pension ages, but they're working really great and they're great specialists. And that's my strategy is not um, my strategy is a little bit opposite, but here is a really very important question for me, to attract young professionals. Okay, colleagues. So from my point of view, we have collected all the sorry, I'm sorry, we were running off time. Elena has asked very interesting question, but I will try to answer in chat when I will finish my broadcast. So, colleagues, thank you very much. It was the first time that I was speaking to the auditory only with my video cam and do not have the opportunity to listen to your questions, just typing. It was a really great experience, and I was happy to share my experience and the experience of my colleagues with you. So, in case you have questions, I will be here for 10 minutes in chat, and I will answer in writing form to all of your interesting and exciting questions. Thank you very much. Have a good luck. Stay healthy and goodbye. Thank you for your attention. Bye bye.